I know right now you might be wondering, why am I not seated behind a table and talking to a camera on a tripod? Let me explain. I came to a realization that discipleship really isn't about talking at people, but taking people along in your journey of life. And to be honest, that's how I determined to do YouTube. But somewhere along the way, I started to enjoy sitting behind a table. Not to say there's anything really wrong with sitting behind a table and actually talking with people, but I feel really if we're going to do this discipleship thing well, I should actually embrace this new direction and trajectory for the 40 days of discipleship. So instead of me just sitting behind a table all the time, I will take you along with me as I go through life, especially when there are things that I feel are significant for me to share. So I hope you guys actually enjoy this new direction that we're taking, because I'm actually looking forward to it now. So one of my places of assignment is the hospital. You might assume that the only people I serve are the patients, but in actual fact, I get to also interact with medical personnel. So as I was finishing off my work for the day, I actually had a conversation with one of our medical students, which I found to be very interesting. Of course, I cannot get into the details of it, but it helped me to realize why it is important for each and every one of us to answer this simple question that Jesus Christ asks to his disciples. Who do you say that I am? Just being able to answer this simple question really will form the foundation or the basis of what you actually believe about Jesus Christ. As we all know that faith is conceived in the heart and confirmed in our actions. So if you are to accurately represent Jesus Christ in the way that you live, in the way that you act, you must actually have an accurate revelation of who he is to you. Because at the end of the day, we actually live out who we are on the inside. We live out what we believe in our hearts, isn't it? That becomes reflected in what we do, what we say, and how we live. It's actually on the rock of that revelation of Jesus Christ that the rest of your life really is built upon. So it becomes very important that you and I actually follow closely behind Jesus Christ so that we know who he is and subsequently become exactly what he presents to us. Okay, so I left that office because I actually want to go to the car now and read. There's a particular book that I'm reading. Let me show you guys. The book that I'm currently reading is called The Art of Following by Bishop Dag Heward-Mills. Yes, I use Pocketbook to read all my ebooks because Google Play Book seems to be obsolete now. What actually triggered me to start reading that book is the conversations that we've been having on this 40 days of discipleship. I came to the realization that we actually copy our way into becoming. We follow our way into becoming. The art of following really means replicating what you see in somebody else until it becomes who you are. So as we're following Jesus Christ, he will bring certain people into your paths who he will ask you to follow for a time. Like Paul says, that follow me as I follow Christ. So the art of following really means just having the ability to identify what is of Christ in a person and copying that until it becomes a part of you also. Because at the end of the day, we're not trying to become like another person. We're trying to become like Jesus Christ, who serves as the standard for what we stand for and who God has called us to be. Sometimes it'll entail you actually reading other people's books. It'll entail you actually following certain individuals who are walking in what you believe God has called you to walk in until you have a fuller and more accurate revelation of Jesus Christ on account of what has been revealed to others. Because I'll say this, yes, we know you want to study the Word of God and have the Lord speak to you personally. But here is this. What I've realized is that discipleship and mentorship actually cut process out of your learning. There are certain things that I have taught to certain people which took me years to learn, but they are learning it in simply having a 1-hour conversation with me. And that saves you a lot of time. Of course, in you learning it, you must then learn how to personalize the information to you, to tailor it to where you are and where you are going, isn't it? We don't just imbibe everything, but we must be selective so that at the end of the day, we don't end up being a carbon copy of someone, but a representation of Jesus Christ. All this to say, it is very possible for you and I to actually follow Jesus Christ by following others. Not that they become a standard, but they simply become a signpost that directs us to certain revelations of Jesus Christ.